we're here. It's Whispers Within / Unturned Pages mashup tonight. That's what we're going to do. Since I don't have the intro for Whispers Within anymore. I got deleted somehow.
Okay. I literally just sent you a message asking you why you played the Unturned Pages intro instead of the Whispers Within intro.
Because it's not on my StreamYard anymore.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. That's fine. Everybody, all 7 of you that I can see, thank you so much for coming and listening.
Yes. Tonight is the last episode of Whispers Within. We're going on a long-term hiatus. Personal stuff, family issues, all that fun stuff. So me and Candy have decided to take a little break and focus on the other things that need to be focused on. But Russ stepped in tonight to help with co-hosting. So we're super excited. We're gonna go through these real quick.
Yeah, you're super excited.
Unturned Pages has t-shirts on pre-order. We have sold a lot so far, so if you are interested, they are $20 at events, $22 shipped. If you're interested, feel free to contact me and I will get you on that list.
Or you could contact me and I'll get it over to Jenny.
Yeah, want to. Or Facebook page, message the page. We got mugs for Compass of the Curiosities and Unturned Pages. They are $25 plus shipping.
They're
if you're
tumblers.
Interested, yep. We have
tumblers, not mugs.
Okay, sorry. Tumblers, whatever. We have 8 left, so if you want one, contact me and we can hook you up. If you've missed any episodes of Whispers Within, Unturned Pages, Compass of Curiosities, these are listen to it. Facebook, Audible, Google, Spotify, YouTube, all those amazing places. You can check up and on any of the podcasts on there.
Okay, well, I guess it's just me right now because Jenny seems to have been issues with her internet. So I will run through these really quick.
I think
so. We got Indiana State Sanatorium coming up by Get Haunted on 4/27. So you got 2 days left to get your tickets for that one. You got the Penhurst Paracon coming up. Oh, I'm getting feedback from somewhere. Penhurst Paracon coming up May 16th through the 18th and 19th. 18th and 19th. Okay, I knew I was close. Great guest. You doing it right over there, Jenny? You having some internet issues?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Penhurst Paracon, make sure you get your tickets for it. Just talking about this. FCI Con, June 15th. MadCon 7, September 21st. ISS Con 3, August 17th. All buildings run and helped run by Adam Kimmel. Great locations. I've heard nothing but great things about it. I am very personally connected to Madison, so it'll be very interesting to go back there in September for MadCon. But yeah, get your tickets for it. It'll be a great time out there. The Wicked Piss Off Spring Para Fair, hosted by Warner Paranormal Preservation Society, held at the Hart Stuff Hall in Rockland, Massachusetts. Great vendors. No speakers, but you're going to have your vendors, your mediums. We got a food truck outside. Podcast, paranormal, everything you can do. The Trifecta Experience. Ghost, Cryptids, and Aliens. 2 nights accommodation come with your tickets. Pine Bush Museum Tour, UFO lecture, paranormal investigation for 2 nights. You have breakfast each morning. Sasquatch hike, workshops, Staticom, seminars, collaboration and connection is all you can ask for in an event. Ronnie LeBlanc from Expedition Bigfoot. Excuse me. Sorry. Ron Iacovetti and Loris Gonzalez from Staticom and DSI. So Get Haunted.
And Scotty the Medium. Event.
And who? Scotty the Medium.
Scotty.
That's right.
Yep. This
That's
one,
right.
if you, Missouri State Pen is June 1st. If you are interested at all to do this event, get your tickets now. Because if they do not sell enough tickets by next Wednesday, it will be canceled. And we don't want to see that. So get your tickets this weekend to make this event happen. You will have Devils on the Run, Runs, Seekers of the Paranormal there with a bunch of the haunted items of the Runs Museum. So get your tickets now, because if you don't, might not happen. And we don't want that to happen. We don't want it to be canceled. Our favorite event of the year, Christmas in July, Gettysburg Battlefield Bash, July 26th to the 28th. It is a great event. Everyone should go check it out. It's $20 for the weekend. So many people will be there. Check their Facebook page for more information. Michigan Paracon, another event of the year, end of August up in Sault Marie, up by the Canadian border. Anyone in the paranormal field will be there from your favorite shows.
Wilson Castle 5th Annual Bash at the Castle. Great event, also hosted by Warner Paranormal Explorers. It's a great laid back kind of event. Just come up, have a couple drinks, hang out, talk to everybody. It's a great laid back, just kind of go with the flow kind of thing. Also, the East Coast Para Expo, November 2nd and November 3rd, once again in Rockland, Massachusetts. Great people, great vendors. There'll be lectures there. We touch on everything from cryptids to UFOlogy to witchcraft to everything. So if you're in the area, make sure you come on and check it out.
And then another big event happening in October is hosted by Get Haunted and Ghosted. It's the Supernatural Soiree. There'll be celebrities, the raffles, giveaways, music, vendors, dance, so much more. I know the Searchers will be there, Sam Bertusis will be there, and so many other great people will be there. Patty Negri will be there doing a seance at midnight. You might see me. I'm going to try to figure out how to get there. So if you see me, come say hi. But let's get into our guests for the evening. I have had the pleasure of going to this location. It is out in, oh crap, I can't remember. It's in Illinois. It is Conover Sqaure. It is amazing. Haunted antique shops. So much history. We were there for 3 hours, and let's just say 3 hours could have probably turned into 12 hours easily there. But Steve and Josiah will be joining us, so let's bring them on. Hello, hello.
Hello. Hey, Jenny. Hey, Russ. Happy birthday, Russ.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Yes, let's say all happy birthday to Russ. It is his big 40 birthday.
Don't remind me.
He's like, don't remind me. I was probably the first one to wish him happy birthday on Facebook because, he's like a brother from another mother to me. So
thankfully, I spent my birthday at home instead of in the hospital. So
yeah, let's be happy about that.
Right.
But Steve, Josiah, tell us a little about the location that we are talking about tonight.
Sure. So Conover Sqaure started out as the Schiller Piano Factory. It was built back in the late 1800s. About 1892 is when it was founded. And there's the picture of it right there. It's it was a piano factory for many years. In the early 1900s, they came upon hard times and it was bought out. It became Conover and Cable Piano, and they still manufactured pianos all the way through the 1970s. In the 1970s, it went out of business for good, and the first owner bought the place, turned it into an antique mall, and second owner, who is Lou, he's currently the owner. He's been maintaining it ever since. It's full of everything from antique stores to crafting stores. There's a Mexican restaurant. There's hair salons and just a whole mixed bag of different things. Our local food pantry is based out of here as well. And so that's the history on the building. The tours themselves started up about 10 years ago. A lot of the shop owners were sharing stories with our friend Mike Grasso, and all of them had something weird happen in their store at one point in time or throughout the building. I know the bathroom, one of them went in the bathroom and saw a little girl. And so that turned into, he would do a haunted walking tour and tell all the scary stories. Once the first paranormal team called him up to come in and investigate, got a good amount of evidence, went and shared it. And the rest is history. He started doing these tours where he would hand out equipment and then tell the scary stories and then turn people loose to investigate. And more paranormal teams started coming in. And he moved to Pennsylvania about 5 years ago and turned the keys over to Josiah and I, and we've kept the tradition going ever since then.
Yeah, and like I said, I've been there. I went last November, and as soon as you walk in, it's an active location. There's multiple floors, like he said. There's a basement and a sub basement. There's a lot of places to check out. That's for sure.
I think you guys just scratched the tip of the iceberg. I mean, there's so much more ground in there too, and everywhere is fair game. We've had to go and seek out the locations we've never investigated in, and sometimes those turn up the best evidence for us. If you keep going back to the hot spots, eventually, you'll go there and get nothing for a while, and so you seek out new areas and you get activity.
Yeah,
I just gotta say, for Steve and Josiah, you guys are the real heroes of this, because you're stepping up to take care of these historical locations, and keeping them going and keeping them relevant and accessible to the public. So kudos to you guys.
Thank you.
Oh, there's Josiah. Hey.
There he is.
The man is hiding.
Yep, I'm in now.
God, is that you?
But yeah, when me and Candy, my mom and Derek went, me and Candy went up to the attic. My mom and Derek stayed on the main floor, and then me and Candy went to the basement for probably 10 minutes before we got called up to the top, to the main floor because of activity. So, like I said, I want to go back. It is extremely active location. It's just not spirits. There's elementals. There are puckwudgies that roam around there. It's very interesting. You get everything and anything in that building is there.
It's a grab bag.
It's a total mixed bag. Yes, that's a great way to put it.
Yes. Do you want to talk about the attic? Because that was a really big hotspot for us, and I know in the past it's been for you guys.
Sure.
Yes, please tell us about the attic, because I'm learning about this all myself too.
Josiah, do you want to tackle that, or do you want me to?
Yeah, I can go ahead and do that.
Sure.
So the attic is one of the biggest hotspots of the tour. All kinds of different things have gone on in there. One of the things off the top of my head that just always spooks me out really bad. We had a group come in, and part of the group was a father and a son. And they came up to the attic, and they decided that they'd like to stay in the attic alone for a little while. So the rest of the group split off, and they stayed behind in the attic. And they said that they were looking down toward one of the thresholds that's kind of lit from another room. So the room that they were in the attic is pretty dark, but far beyond, there's a threshold, and then there's a backlight kind of lighting the entryway to that room. So they were sitting in the darkness, but they could see a little bit of a lit area, and both of them swear that they saw something come crab walking into that area, and they were both completely terrified. And for whatever reason, whether it's probably Hollywood that really makes that super freaky to me, but just the thought of seeing something crab walking toward you is like an absolute big nope for me. So that's one of the stories that really stands out in my head. And I know, Steve, you've got a really cool story about Staples. I think they'd love to hear that one too.
Yeah, but we were investigating same area that Josiah just mentioned. We were investigating on Halloween a few years ago, and I was wearing my doctor outfit and everything, and some people were dressed up. But I had led a group into that same area, and as we were investigating, all of a sudden we heard like a metallic noise hit the ground. It sounded like a nail fell or something, and so we went over and investigated, and we found a little thing of Staples laying on the ground. And so we're all like, wow, cool. He threw it down. Like, that's the noise we heard. That's what it was. So we were taking pictures. And then next thing you know, we hear that same noise at the far back side of the room. And we're all, it all catches our attention. And the girl that was standing farthest away from the group, towards where that noise came from, kind of hightailed it towards us. She's like, I'm out of here. And as she came up to the group, something whizzed past her, like a rock, a piece of plaster or something, and landed. It was thrown from the back area of the room there. That night we had some cool poltergeist activity. Every time I'm up there, I ask for something to be thrown, something to be moved, and it's never happened ever again, And, my first thought was someone's playing around with this, someone's just having a good time throwing stuff around. And, but when stuff was thrown at us from the back area of the room where no one was at, I knew, okay, this is actually happening. But, but that's the same area you were in, Jenny.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I was just going to say, just to kind of paint a picture for everybody out there who has never been to Conover Square, at one point in time, it would have employed, I believe, nearly 250 employees at once. And up in the attic, we find all sorts of writing on the walls. And there's one area that there's actually like what appears to be a mock baseball game that they were keeping track of the score. And the game is dated 1930. So it just gives you an idea of how rich that history was and how many people spent a tremendous amount of their lives working away in that attic, so it's the way we see it now, it's just a storage unit, but the way you would have seen it back then, it would have been hustling and bustling and people working together, so that's kind of an interesting way to look at it.
Definitely.
Okay, well, I've already debunked your staple thing.
Okay.
It was just Milton from Office Space looking for a stapler.
Exactly. I'm just glad he hasn't burned it down yet, So
yeah, right.
I know when we were there, me and Candy went up to the attic by ourselves, which we found out after the fact from you guys. That was mostly a man's area. It held like a man's club, right? In that attic as well.
So that's kind of in the central area between the two side wings, the north and the south wing. Yes, that is dominated by some of the members of the Owls, which was the Oregon Bachelors Club. A couple of old historical pictures down there in the museum area. Just literally a club of single men who formed this club. It was around for 50, 60 years. And if you were a member of that and you got married, they would punish you by fining you $5 and tarring and feathering you and kicking you out, But so anyways, so some of these guys are up there in the attic, that's kind of the hazing fraternity kind of, atmosphere. But back in that area where this happened to you, all we know of for, all that we've had confirmed is that there's a working man in there, kind of in the back corner, just wants to be left alone doing his work. There used to be a spirit named Sarah in there. One of the mediums that came through there, Sarah came up and grabbed her arm and said, "I'm just trying to find my mommy." Dan Norvell actually on one of his visits ended up crossing that spirit over, and we believe that she can come and go now, but she's mostly not present up there like she used to be.
Yeah, we didn't encounter any women's spirits. We encountered the men's spirits.
Yes,
it was like the I can't remember which box it was. I think it was the radar from Ghost Gear. We had it set up in that back corner like you were talking about, like where the man likes to work and doesn't like to be disturbed. That kept going off. And then it got really quiet. And so we're like, okay, let's turn some era type of music on. And as soon as we started that music, it lit up, like activity-wise. Like all of a sudden we saw these shadows coming further towards us. And then we stopped. And then all of a sudden me and Candy were hearing things around us. Like, okay, we're not alone anymore.
Right.
And we both stand up, facing away from the back corner. And all of a sudden Candy's like, "Is there someone behind me lifting my shirt?" I'm like, "Yes." And then it started to happen to me. The shorts were being lifted up in the back. And then Candy got felted up between her legs. It was really creepy. And we're like, okay, we're done here. We're not going to be felt up. We're not going to be, touched like that. So
Sure.
we're like, okay, we're going to go downstairs and check on the other two and see what is happening. And then we came back up, I think like 20 minutes later, and it was still that like really active, like felt like they were like the men were
heavy.
Men were trying to have fun, heavy, and we two women alone coming into that man area was like, they're like, oh, something just fell. all the lights were on us. So that attic was extremely active for us.
You know, that's kind of a double-edged sword, because, you know, from one side of the coin, it's like, wow, you know, awesome, there was activity, things happened, you know, we're confirming that spirits were here and things like that. The other side of the coin is, you know, if someone had some trauma in their life, you know, or survived abuse or things like that, or you know, for them to realize that they might be putting themselves in that sort of a position and everything. At the same time, you know, it's not something that's, I guess, encouraging, you know.
Mhm.
but yes, so I mean, I guess there's a couple ways to look at it, you know. But that's people have been touched up there before. You know, people have felt stuff on their leg. Maybe hair has been messed with. I think maybe arm grabbed or things like that. Nothing has ever happened until you guys came, like you described, you know. That was just like,
we were just special. We
yeah,
were the
well, our
special
minds were
ones.
blown, but yeah.
Yeah, because we didn't tell you guys anything until the very end. We were like, okay, we kind of have to go, but we don't want to. And then we were confirming things with you, and you're like, we didn't even tell you this beforehand, and now you're saying
Right.
this. It kind of like matches up perfectly.
Yeah.
I know Chris Fleming's been there. What did he experience at this location?
Josiah, do you want to cover that?
Yeah, sure. So Chris had an interesting experience. I believe it was in the basement, where he thought he was seeing what he titled to be jinn. And is that correct, Steve? Is it jinn, or was it
Imps, Jinn?
imps?
Yes. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we had never heard anything like that before, so it was really interesting to get his take on that, and hear, you know, sort of how he was experiencing things. And something that was very interesting, after his event ended, a lot of us were wrapping up, and we were kind of getting all of our equipment picked back up, and we had audio devices and video devices set up all around Conover, and we were kind of slowly collecting them, but also talking at the same time. And I believe it was a camera caught, is plain as day, a baby crying. And it kind of ramps up, like you can hear the little baby start crying, and then it gets higher and higher, and then it's just full-blown baby crying. And that one we've attempted to debunk so many times and can't figure it out. And that was after Chris's event. So, you know, who knows, was it somebody that maybe potentially brought that along with them, or did Chris somehow conjure that up? We're not sure, but it was just a phenomenal event.
And that camera was not Bluetooth connected. It was not Wi-Fi connected. It was completely offline. We can't figure any way that there would have been interference with like a local baby monitor within the neighborhood, or someone, you know, with their cell phone with a baby monitor app or something. You know, no explanation for that whatsoever. Chris also had a lot of somehow he was being talked to by an angel of some kind. He said he envisioned an angel floating above Conover, kind of the first we've heard of that. And he said that there was a war of good and evil kind of about to be, you know, waged on site and everything. Some of the responses he got kind of backed that up. It was kind of interesting. I know his abilities seem a little bit different than some of the other mediums and everything, but yeah, it was quite an active night, really.
That's where I've heard of Conover Sqaure before, as Chris Fleming.
Okay.
Probably.
It just jogged my memory. Like I remember seeing him post about it. Now, are you guys on any sort of ley lines or anything like that? Like
that's a
that
good
you would
question.
know for the accumulation of so many different entities that inhabit this building.
So I do know we have the dam that's right out back on the Rock River. That dam was actually put there by the Sqaure Piano Factory to power the operations and the production of the pianos. It eventually was used to supply power to the whole town. So there's a dam out there that causes energy. I know that we're on a limestone foundation, and that also conducts energy. There was a lot of Native American activity in the area, you know, prior to being settled. And I mean, there's a cemetery just up the road. People have people have drowned in the river out back. So I think it's just kind of a perfect storm.
Mhm.
I know some of the mediums that have come through said the place is kind of like a beacon, like it just draws spirits in, and some
Mhm.
come and leave, some come and stay. So and like we said, it is a total mixed bag. I mean, the baby, uh, uh, demons and angels, imps and jinn, which I personally believe follow Chris a lot around quite a
Oh
bit. Yeah.
Yes.
But then also just the random spirits that are here and the random ones that show up. I mean,
yeah. Like that night for us, we encountered elementals. Like it was funny
yes.
because we were all down by the bathroom where the little girls known to reside. And all of a sudden, it was me and Candy. All of a sudden, we just started laughing hysterically. Like, we could not control it. And we got on the phone with one of our friends who's a psychic medium out in Greece. And she's like, yep, you're dealing with an elemental. And she's like, is there a water source nearby? I'm like, yep, there's a dam. And she's like, okay, so that elemental is coming from that. So that was interesting because we're like, we didn't realize there was elementals there until we all of a sudden got affected by them. But yeah.
Now, question for you, Steve or Josiah, either one who wants to answer. Are you guys, how far are you guys from Alton, Illinois?
We're a good ways. Wouldn't you say about 4 hours, Steve?
Yeah, 4.5 hours away. Yeah.
Okay. Because I know the whole story of Alton, Illinois was it was an old Civil War fort that was torn down, and it was all limestone foundation. And that's what the foundations of many of the houses and businesses and buildings in Alton are built off of. So, I mean, you saying that it was built off of a limestone foundation, it just kind of makes sense.
Oh yeah. And there's a lot of reported hauntings in the town itself. A lot of homes and businesses have stories of things that have happened in their buildings as well. Yeah, so I mean, there's some validity to the conductivity and the energy from the limestone.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like Damien just said, water holds information. I mean, it's a constant energy source.
Yep.
Constant. Yep. And like we were down in that one area, like by where the little girl is in the restroom. We had put a piece of equipment. I think it was.
Was it a box of cat balls? I think.
Yeah, box of cat balls. Yeah. And it was in a clear bin. Here I can show you right there. We had them all in here. There was more full than this, to the hallway to the bathrooms, and then we walked to go talk to you guys or something. I can't remember. And the box had moved into like the entryway of the building in a seat. I remember we had to call you guys up. We were like, okay, because we had just seen the owner when we were talking to you. So we're like, maybe he moved it as he was going to the bathroom or something. But nope, it was probably a good, 20 feet, 30 feet away.
And around the corner, yeah.
Around the corner, in a chair. It was interesting because we left for like 20 minutes. We're like, okay, where is this box of cat balls? Like, it's not that easy to move. We're like, okay. The
Through
little
the
girl
bridge
didn't
and
want to play
over the
with us.
bridge. Grandma's house I go.
Yeah, that was really, yeah. So
that was the second time we had heard about elementals in here. The first time was up in the museum area. We had a bachelorette party come in. It was a group of 4 girls. Not your typical bachelorette party, no drinking, no whatever,
Hey, that'll be my type of bachelorette party. Let's go to a haunted location.
Absolutely. I know many people that would do exactly that. Yeah. Yep.
I got married in a haunted location, so
Awesome.
hi,
But,
Christy. Sorry, Christy Parrish runs a lot of locations up here in New England. She runs like 3 or 4, actually probably I think 7 now at this point. So
nice.
Good friend of mine. Actually, that was perfect timing because actually one of the locations she runs is actually the location I got married at.
Ah, cool. Yeah, good timing.
Jenny knows all about the Oliver House.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Nice.
Want to get back there, that's for sure. But yeah.
Awesome. I was just about the elemental. That night of the party, a couple of the girls had abilities. They were sensitive and everything. They were picking up on something that was circling us. and it was keeping its distance and everything. But they said they couldn't detect really, human attributes, and they realized, they said, oh, we're dealing with an elemental here, and it wouldn't come close to us. It was just kind of circling us at a distance and everything. They were doing black mirror scrying in one of the rooms up there. Two of them were. The other two were out at the end of the museum, and Mike and I were talking to them, and the two girls had something come right between them, and they saw it in the mirror's reflection between the two of them.
Oh, wow.
And they freaked. They're like, hey, everyone get back here, and we went back to find out what was going on, but they believed that was the elemental that came through.
Interesting.
Damien
See,
says,
Yep.
well,
Go ahead.
few elementals being out in nature barefoot is good grounding techniques. Like when we left candy for the elementals to kind of tame them down for you. Hopefully that was the case afterwards. I know he had another question here. Where was it?
If I remember correctly, I think Derek was attacked by one, wasn't he?
Yep. Yeah, he was, and that was another interesting but creepy activity with us. Me and Candy, we'll come back to this question.
I was gonna say that's a good question.
Yeah, it was.
No,
really...
This is the one I was thinking of from Damien.
Oh, what would you say is your most reliable equipment or your go-to every time?
Well, I that's a good question. I know that we like to use some of the devices, but honestly, just your sixth sense or your five senses. Sorry, that was a slip. Your five senses are probably your best attributes. Period. Your best ghost hunting equipment. Although anything that'll capture video, audio, even your cell phone camera. Some of the best evidence we've seen has come up on cell phone cameras.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, how reliable do you consider the cell phone camera thing? Because it's so easily to be manipulated, as well as a standard camera. So it's really like, that's why I depend on audio, which isn't any better.
Sure.
Because of the simple fact of it is you have no, as somebody that Jenny has sent me EVPs before to listen to. And the first questions I always ask are, who's in the room? How many people are in the building? Was there wind going on? Was there rain? What part are you in? What's in the room? It's so much harder, but like, people think these days that, oh, I captured a full body apparition and that's going to make me famous. And that's kind of their go-to for things. Like, so how skeptical or reliable are you on when somebody comes to you and go, I got this?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I know, yes, I have seen some of the best audio evidence debunked. In fact, it just happened to us the other night. Caught an amazing EVP, and it was a woman's voice, and she was saying, I don't know. And it was a direct response to a question we had. And after getting so excited about it, listened to a different recorder that was recording the same interaction. That was a burst session. Listened to that recorder, and it was Greg coughing,
Yeah.
You're like, how in the hell does a cough come through as I don't know? But sure enough, it did,
Yeah.
Cell phone cameras, like, we all know about the lens flare. You see a million posts about, hey, I caught this, and you look at it and you're like, oh, light source and the way it reflects and everything and the direction, it's a lens flare. But I don't know. I would still say they're somewhat reliable because, I mean, if you're not pointing and clicking, you won't catch anything.
Nope.
And it's not like something is always present. It's once in a blue moon that you really capture something, So yeah. I don't know, probably 60-40 reliable, I would say.
Yeah, and we have to kind of walk a bit of a fine line because when we're doing the tours, we oftentimes have people that are doing it for the very first time. So we try our best to not immediately burst their bubble. But, a lot of times we realize, like, that's definitely like a dust orb. But it's such a hard thing for us to tell them that because they're so excited and ready to go. And,
so excited,
you know,
like ready to go to
yeah. So it's so difficult to do that. But I think we've all kind of come to the consensus that it's going to be best to really explain it to them and just tell them most likely it's dust, but keep on taking pictures. You know, hopefully you'll get something that's pretty legit.
Yep.
And Josiah, that was the question I was just going to bring up next was, are you one of those people that let people down easy, or are you like one of those people that look at the pictures and like, yeah, that's dust, that's nothing?
You know, I really try to approach it with kid gloves because once again, I don't want to hurt somebody's feelings, but I would feel that if I were to just look at it and like act all surprised, I would be doing them a bigger disservice. So I attempt to do it in a way that doesn't make it seem like I'm being a jerk about it. More so just like, yeah, I think that's probably dust this time.
Yeah.
Yep.
I wanted to go back to what we were talking about a little before when
sorry, Jenny.
No, it's fine. When Derek got I don't want to say attacked. I don't want to say that word, but jumped.
Ambushed.
Ambushed. Okay, we'll go with ambush. Yes. My mom and him were up in that walkway by the bathroom. And me and Candy had just went down to the basement. We were just getting through the elevator shaft and finally staying down. All of a sudden, my phone rings with Derek calling. But when I answered, no one was there. So we're like, okay, kind of creepy. We tried calling back. And then all of a sudden my head started hurting. Like I was picking something up and I wasn't sure what it was. And I'm like, okay, something's going on. He's not calling back. No one's calling back. This isn't like them. Neither of them were calling us back. So we're like, okay, let's go upstairs, check on Derek, because he gets a lot of the ambushed spirits. So we went up there. Derek was passed out cold on the floor. And we finally got him back. He goes, yeah, something hit me in the back of the head on the left side. And that's the side of my head that was getting like that weird feeling. So we're like, okay. So we finally got him back. He's talking. He's like, I never called you. And we looked at his phone. It was never on his caller ID.
Oh, wow.
Like he never called out on his phone. So we're like, that's kind of weird. Like, was the spirits of Conover trying to get us out of the basement up to that main floor to check on him? It was really weird.
That is really wild to think about. And what I always go back to is like, let's say that God forbid I died right now and I was a spirit. Like how would I even know to manipulate a device to be able to do something like that? Or maybe when that does happen, you gain a different type of knowledge that we don't have in our earthly bodies. You know, that's another aspect or a way to look at that. But I have heard of that before where a deceased loved one will call a relative and the person's been deceased for a day or two. You know, that's very wild to think about.
Oh, yeah.
That's happened, Russ?
That's happened to me, actually. My grandmother passed away after all her belongings were actually packed up and put into a box. 3 days later, I actually got a picture of her texted to me from her number. That was actually a picture I took, which I wish I still had the picture. I think my dad may still have it or not. But it was actually her laying in the hospital bed, but there was a blurred figure standing over her, like somebody was like bending over her, looking at her and talking to her.
Wow.
And that was the picture that we took. I sent it to my dad. And here's the thing. That picture was never sent to my grandmother's cell phone.
Oh, wow.
So
wow.
It was only sent to, I took the picture. It was sent to my dad. It was sent to my sister, and it was sent to somebody else. But I was sitting at home about 2 or 3 days after she had passed away. And it was 11:30, 12 o'clock at night, I want to say. And I get a text message that pops up, and it was from her number. And of course, you know, I was like, she practically raised me. So she was very near and dear to me. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I started freaking out. And immediately called my dad, and I was like, "Are you messing with me? Like, don't mess with me." And he's like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "I just got a text message from Grandma's phone. What's going on?" He's like, "I'm literally looking at the box that everything is packed in right now." Cell phone was off, like the power is completely off to it, and we still can't explain it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Jeez, that's incredible.
Yeah. And I know.
I think it was kind of a reaching out of going, "I'll be okay," you know.
Closure.
Closure.
Yep.
Yes.
And like with my phone, my ringer was off. So for it to go off and ring loudly so me and Candy could both hear it was like, how did the volume get on? Like, I think it was the spirits of Conover being like, hey, you need to go upstairs, check on him because something happened type of thing.
Sure.
But yeah, that was really weird that night. I know you guys have an EVP on your Facebook page. I'm gonna pull it up here if I can. Let's see if I can get to it.
This will be interesting to see if you can video share.
Okay, so what this one says, tell us what you think of this EVP after Greg stops his sentence. It was caught in the attic. So let's play it and then we'll get the little backstory of it.
All right, I'm going to get ready to shut it off. Your last chance to say something.
And we'll play it again. There we go.
All right, I'm going to get ready to shut it off. Your last chance to say something.
That's clear as day to me.
What
It's
did
so-
you hear?
It's a female, and you hear her just go almost in a disappointed tone. Go, okay.
That's exactly what we heard as well. But-
You could definitely tell it's female. You could definitely tell it's almost like I don't want to say disparaging, but it's definitely a kind of, oh, you're going so soon kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And it's kind of just like a little kid going, okay.
Exactly. And it's funny when we played that back in real time, that was a burst session. We played it back right away. And at the end, we all, all of us that have been doing this a while looked at each other like, holy shit, we just caught something. And the other people were like, who said that? We're like, well, yeah, exactly. Who said it? None of us said it. That was one of the spirits coming through. And yeah, that was a good one.
What recorder was it that was being used?
Great. Or Josiah, do you remember the exact name of it?
I think it was Greg's Tascam, the bigger one.
No, it's the very specific Sony.
Okay.
He owns like 7 or 8 of them. It's the same one that Dave Schrader, Chris Fleming, all of those guys use the exact same one.
Tamagotchi XF3 5000.
That's it.
I wish I could remember the name of it, but it is a very specific Sony model. It doesn't have a lot of the new features.
DSR 60.
Yes, that sounds right. Yep, I believe so. And I mean, they're not cheap, and Greg keeps finding them where people either don't know what they have or are just selling them, below
Now,
demand price.
Have you ever had experience? Because I have a couple times prior. The old school Panasonic one,
Okay.
like the real flat credit card style one.
Oh, I know what you mean. I mean, we have some Olympuses and some other Sonys and things like that, but
I only go Olympus because I've had nothing but good luck with Olympus.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I that recorder, that Sony recorder that they all use, I do think it's more prone to getting something because it's so damn sensitive. But it also doesn't have like the like any noise reduction or background noise, any of the newer modern features that the top of the line Tascams have and stuff.
The
Like
noise canceling, the drowned out the background, things
exactly.
like that.
And I mean that this one is old enough that it's pretty difficult to transfer the files off of there. You have to use some Sony based program to get it to download and then convert, and it's kind of, you jump through a lot of hoops and everything, but yeah, that's the recorder that it was used on. or that it was
That's
caught on.
that's fantastic. Because Christy, she says she loves Olympuses. Actually, fun story about Christy at the Oliver House. I had been there multiple times prior. My wife and I ended up getting married during COVID.
Okay.
And that was when they put the restrictions on how many people can gather in an area at one time. And they started lifting it to the point we could have 20 people or 25 people, I believe it was. And we actually got married on Friday the 13th.
Oh,
wow. It just so happened to happen that it was at a haunted location as well. But that was kind of our scramble around. And Christy was so willing and nice to give us the location for the day. But she was actually in there and she was actually running the Ovulus. I believe it was Christy. If you're listening still, please correct me if I'm wrong. It was either the Ovulus or the big box that like spits out words.
That would be the obelisk with
Yeah,
the words
okay.
of the database. Yeah.
Yeah. But she had it set up while she was kind of just running around, like doing things around the house. And we had forgotten a cooler at the house, so we had to go back and get my car anyways. And she's texting me while we're on our way there. She's like, "You're never gonna believe what I got." And she actually sends me the picture of it. And it said Russ, it said candles, it said love. I believe it said my wife's grandfather's first name, who's been
Wow.
passed away for a while. Like it was just like we were in the building for maybe 6 hours, if that. And I'd been there a couple times before, but to have something reach out that personally was just crazy.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, to get even one or two of those words is already, that the odds of that are so small. But to get, all four of those words together and all of them to have meaning like that, that's
Oh, yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
It pretty much, the words that were coming out pretty much just painted the night, like
Yeah.
the night before. So it was like, hey, they were watching over us. Not only were our ancestors and our previous loved ones watching over us, but also the spirit of the spirits of the Oliver House were watching and kind of like, hey.
Very cool. And what
Okay,
a great setting.
Jenny has another EVP I think she wants to play here. You're on mute, Jenny.
Oops, sorry.
Turn your mic on, Jenny.
This is from the basement of the Conover Sqaure. I think you guys played this for us when we were there as well. Let's play it, and then we'll see what everyone hears from it.
Anybody here? Or something. It might be a car.
Oh my god.
What?
I think it was just air.
Mm.
Something here?
No, I think it
Turn
was
your light on.
I think it was air on my hair.
Feel like a breeze?
Yeah.
I don't think this is the actual EVP
Like
itself.
No.
neck.
I don't
The-
think so.
That was a group that had responded to us playing the EVP and then investigated that area.
Okay.
I know the EVP is out there somewhere. Shoot, Josiah usually has it on his recorder and all ready to go when we're doing the building walkthrough, but Josiah's in Denver and yeah, it's probably not readily available.
I
Probably
might be able to do it if you guys give me just a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
We got as much time as you need, High Mile Boy.
Yeah.
All right. Yep. Give me just a second. I think I might be able to bring it up.
Yeah, and Jenny, you had pointed out about the website. I don't know exactly what happened to it, but it's currently not connecting. And I know we moved it off Weebly a few years ago and put it on a different host. But it is currently down. We're working to get that fixed. It should be back up here anytime.
Okay.
Okay.
So-
I do have it, guys, if you guys want me to play it.
Yeah, let's play it.
Do it.
Okay. Sounds good. Hopefully it's loud enough. All right. That was it. It
And
was probably not too hard, not too easy to hear, but
as I say,
that's
knowing
what
what it was, I could hear it, but it's also very tinny kind of and everything.
Mhm.
Maybe play it one more time. And did you hold it right up to the, or I guess you're on your phone, so.
Well, I was gonna say that the interference between the magnets and everything kind of makes it sound a little tinny as well.
Yeah, because I'm using my work phone for the presentation, but
that's
I'm using my regular phone for the audio, so I can hold it back a little ways if that'll help.
Try
Yeah,
it one, try it one more time.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead and play it one more time.
Okay, here we go. All right.
Russ, did you pick out any keywords in that? Possibly one or two.
I did not, but it sounded like there was something like at the beginning, like not like at the immediate beginning, but kind of like it almost sounded like you were running a ghost box.
Well, so here's the setup for it.
Yeah,
was-
please tell me that.
It was a husband and wife couple. They were part of Midwest Ghost Society. They were the first group to come out and investigate. And I believe that was the first investigation out here by a paranormal team. And they were setting up their equipment. So you kind of hear them just kind of murmuring to each other. And that's what the clatter and the murmuring is at first. But then this audio, Mike used Audacity to enhance it when the EVP started. So that's why you hear the change in like kind of the background noise. But it was a deep male voice. And he said, it wasn't just, something quick. He said, "That bitch is in the chair I sit in." And then about 10 seconds later, that's why he let it play the same voice, "bitch," a second time.
Mhm.
Now this lady is one of the sweetest ladies we know. She's super
Oh, yeah,
nice.
she's super sweet.
She would never swear. Her name's Julie. She, it's just weird that he would call her out like that. But, I think he's thinking, hey, that's my chair and she's sitting in it, and I don't
Mhm.
know.
Josiah, can you send that to me so I can listen to it without the
Yeah,
interference and everything?
Yeah, definitely. We can connect offline, and I'll get your email and pass it over to you.
Yeah, 'cause
Fantastic.
when we play it in person, someone at least always picks up on the
Oh,
bitch
yeah.
and the chair part,
Mhm.
Well, that's why Jenny sends me all over VPs because that's kind of what I focus on is like I focus on the audio.
Sure.
So
Awesome.
So, what is the cost to come and investigate Conover, and what is all entailed in that time?
Josiah, do you want to?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and tackle that one. So, right now it's a $200 flat fee, and that includes up to 8 people. And we generally, like, let's say that people have 10 people they want to bring. It's just an additional 25 after that. And we try to cap the private tours at about 12. We've gone a little bit over that, but it gets a little hairy.
Yeah.
And there's 2 different ways we go about it. So one of the tour styles is established paranormal groups, and those are the people that bring all of their own equipment. They come and investigate the entire building all on their own. Prior to the investigation, we generally give them an abbreviated walkthrough just so they have an idea of the layout of the building.
Yeah.
And then once that walkthrough's done, Steve and I and Greg and Alan and Chelsea will all go sit down in our chairs and hang out, and we'll let the group know that if they need us, come and grab us. But otherwise, it's free reign for them to go and check out the building themselves and set up their equipment, etc. And then the other offering is just a public tour where people contact us, and they're not necessarily an established paranormal group. They're just interested in doing like a haunted investigation. And the difference between the two is on that version, we lay out all of our equipment, and it's not only Steve and I's equipment, it's also our friend Greg, and Greg comes packing. Like when when you talk about a guy that's really into the paranormal equipment, that is Greg. Like he's got literally everything you can think of. And that's really great because we get to kind of live vicariously through the people that are doing it for the first time. So from my perspective, it kind of reinvigorates my feeling on ghost hunting because I'm getting to see it through somebody's eyes who has never seen it before. Whereas if you do it weekend after weekend after weekend, it can get a little, I don't want to say old because that's not the right word, but it's just
Stale.
so wonderful to see it
Stale.
through their eyes.
Mhm.
Yeah, stale. That's a great way to put it. But yeah, those are the two different offerings. And then every now and again, Steve and I will we'll set up a investigation where people sign up for it, and it's first come first serve. So we'll limit that to about 20 people or so,
Mhm.
and we do a special event. So that's great for people who don't have enough to have a full-blown group. They just come and they kind of intermingle with other people from the public, and then we'll do kind of like an abbreviated investigation that evening.
Well, that's the best way to do it because you get these people mingling and different techniques and things like that. So
Yep.
Mhm. Definitely. Chrissy asks, what is the square footage of Conover?
Well, that's a great question. Steve actually just recently corrected me on this. I thought it was
Big.
200,000, but
It's
Steve,
big.
Steve says it's 120, right, Steve?
Well, and actually now I have to think back. So yeah. So I guess the reason it came up, just to name drop a little bit, in Chad Lewis's new book, he's going to include Conover. So he wanted just
Oh, awesome.
he wanted a quick summary about it. And I know we threw out the 200,000 square foot number, and I started thinking about doing some research anyways, and I wanted to have a few questions answered. So I was digging it up, and I want to say it came out at like 140,000, something like
Yeah,
that.
it's
Which is
huge.
still huge, but yeah.
well, yeah.
It's huge. So when I come back, we have to make sure Greg is there because I want to play with all his toys too.
Yes. And I think Greg's kind of new for or due for some new equipment. If you're listening, Greg, just throwing that out there.
And hopefully if I come in the fall, I'll have my new spirit box, which I'm super
Ooh,
excited to have.
very
It's,
cool.
Okay, so
it's-
Steve, I'm sorry. I will
Yeah.
give you a little bit for people that are listening and everything. I will give you a little bit of a comparison. What did you say the square footage was around?
Around 140,000.
Okay, so 140,000.
see.
Waverly Hills Sanatorium is 180,000 square feet.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
feel-
That's the
yeah.
large V shape, and it's all it's kind of narrower. This is a squat, like it's technically an H shape, but
yeah.
most of it is filled in. There's like a small courtyard inside of there, but yeah, it's 5 stories in the back and 3 stories in the front, but it's wider, and yeah, the footprint is
You're literally 40,000 square feet less than one of the most haunted places in America.
sure. Yep.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
it's really neat because there are areas, Steve and I have been doing this
Oh
for
wow.
God about 10 years, and there's areas we have never even seen before in the building that are kind of off access because the building owner keeps it that way. And then there's also wings that we don't have access to on the tour that, geez, Steve, how big would you say that one wing is where
Well,
the antique shop is?
the one antique shop, yeah, it takes up the entire wing of the second floor. So I mean, that's probably I don't know, 25,000 alone in just that store. And
wow.
yeah.
Okay, so one of these times, Steve, I need you to send Josiah up to one of the floors and have him walk end to end, count steps,
Yep.
and then do all the math to break it down for square footage.
Yes. Definitely.
I'll end up being one of the ghosts there.
Yeah, right. Christy's asking, how do you book? Because I know you said your website is down. Thankfully, I told you about that.
Yes, thank you. You can just get a hold of us through the Facebook page. Usually Josiah or I will jump on and respond to you, but otherwise I know Josiah's number is on the website. I mean, he could give it out tonight even.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with that because it is on the website. So my number is 815-988-9177. And then we also have an email. It's hauntedconoversquare@gmail.com.
Yes. And Christy, if you come
calling
out
him
to
right now.
Illinois, Christy, if you come out to Illinois, I will drive down and we can investigate together. Because I plan on going back this year, at least once, if not more.
Awesome.
I
Yeah,
gotta go see these 2 boys again.
we'd love to have you back out here.
Damien says I can walk 20 miles in 8 hours. Can anyone work out that? Work out
how long it would take me. He's giving us math questions at 10 o'clock at night. So
Yeah, let's
Right.
talk about
Damien, in Massachusetts, they're tapping out.
that. Tap out. I do not do math after 5 o'clock. Like my mom said, Russ, we gotta get you there, so we gotta fly you into Minnesota. We can just drive down. And...
There's a lot of places that you need to get me into, and I keep telling you, I'll come put together a trampoline for you this weekend.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Oh, you know what? We get you and Christy on the same flight. Fly you into Minneapolis, and I can take you to Broadhead. I can take you to Conover. I can
All
take
right.
you to the Palmer House. What's up?
I'm down. The wife may be a little bitchy about it, but I'm down for it. All right, so we're coming to the end, and I don't normally do this. I am a special co-host on Whispers Within tonight. Damien, you're watching from, I believe, was it Ireland?
Oh, wow.
UK.
Yeah, he's over in the UK, Ireland, somewhere in the European region over there. But I normally ask these questions on Unturned pages, and he's in Scotland. Okay, the one I didn't say. And I'm Irish and Scottish, so shame on me.
Mom says you have to be nice to your wife.
I know I do, and I am, and I would be, but she's already in bed, so I can say anything I want right now. I'll pay for that tomorrow. So I normally ask these questions on our other 2 shows, Unturned Pages and Compass Curiosities. But I'm going to split it up a little differently here. The first question I have is going to be for each of you singly. What would your last meal be if you were on death row?
Ooh. Wow.
Anything.
Josiah, I'll let you go first so I can think longer.
Okay. So I'm not trying to be cheesy here, but my girlfriend recently made biscuits and gravy for me, and she does it in a really special way. She uses half and half, believe it or not. And I am not kidding you. To me, that stuff is almost like crack. I am addicted to that. So that would probably be mine at this point in time.
I'm torn about this one, Josiah, because, biscuits and gravy is delicious. Absolutely delicious.
Yes.
But you're going to make your girlfriend make you your last meal?
I think that would be a good parting gift to her.
No, she's going to make that meal with hate, you bastard.
Yeah, you're leaving me, you son of a bitch. I'm going to poison it anyway.
Honestly, that is a tough question. And my answer is probably going to be really cliche, but it would have to be either just a perfectly cooked steak, or, the restaurants in the town that I grew up in, that people that leave the town that come back to it have to get the staples. For me, I come from Sterling, and
that's going to be me when I go back to Ohio in September, because I haven't been back there in 8 years.
Right. So Candlelight Inn has Chicken George and everything. Everyone comes back to get that. Angelo's, it's an Italian place. Everyone that grew up there loves Angelo's. So I'd say probably one of those comfort foods that I grew up with, or a perfect steak to go out with.
Yes.
All right, Jenny, we'll coin flip here for the last 2 questions. The last 2 questions. Which one should I give which to?
You should give Steve the location one.
Okay. All right, Steve, we'll start with you.
Okay.
If you had no expenses to worry about, you could go anywhere in the world, no restrictions, nothing. What 5 places would you want to go and investigate?
5. Wow. I guess not knowing specifically, the names of them, but I would like to hit at least a couple castles throughout England and Wales, and Scotland even. The pyramids in Egypt.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. I'm trying to think back to some of the things I've seen. Waverly Hills, you said, that's a big bucket list place. And I even though it's not too far away, I still haven't been there. Maybe
it's hard because they book up so quick.
True.
Yeah.
True. And you have to get a group pretty much to defer that cost as well.
Oh, sure.
And I don't know. kind of pulling up a blank on the last two. Maybe what is it? The Ohio State Reformatory.
Reformatory?
Yes, that would be one, as well as the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum. All places I've seen other groups go to, kind of on the bucket list. But
Steve, I will promise you, if I come that way,
yeah,
I will book investigations at OSR in Tala, because
oh sweet,
my first ever investigation was at OSR at 13 years old.
nice.
And Tala,
13.
I have been to probably half a dozen times, and I absolutely love that location.
Nice.
So we just did a whole week and do
A whole week and just do a paranormal road trip.
Awesome.
Gravely,
Absolutely.
Ohio State Reformatory.
So if anybody hits the lottery, just let us know. And if you want to finance our paranormal road trip, we'll take it.
Nice. I would go with this. My friend Greg, or Greg that was part of our team. He's always said it best. If he wins it, he's going to get a RV, just like Destination Fear does. And
drive around.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
For sure. All right, Josiah, this is your question now. Now, this one's a little more difficult. Jenny gave the easy one to Steve. So, you have to assemble a team of 5 investigators. Now, the catch of it is they could be living or dead. They could also be fact or fictional. So, with that being said, groups such as Ed and Lorraine Warren, Dean and Sam Winchester, the Scooby Gang are all bulked into one choice.
Holy cow. Okay.
See, I told you Jenny gave Steve the easy question.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So I'm going to have to answer this in 2 different ways. If I could have like the non-fantastical group, it would be Steve, Greg, Alan, and Chelsea, and myself.
That all counts as one. That counts as one thing.
He's looking the B team.
That's your
that's the B team.
That's your team, so that counts as one.
100% the B team. Now, if we're talking the A team, I've got Hans Holzer. I would like to have Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. I would like to have Ed and Lorraine Warren for sure. So that's what, 4?
3.
They count as one. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, Ed and Lorraine Warren count as one. Okay.
Correct. Groups count as one. So if you want the entire Scooby Gang, you can have the entire Scooby Gang.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do the entire Scooby Gang for sure. Boy, this is a challenging one here. Just to mix it up, I'd like to have Abraham Lincoln along with us.
Nice.
Nice.
And then I think the very last one I would just do. I think I'm going to leave that one vacant just because I don't know who else to say.
Me.
There
Jenny,
you go.
Jenny can join us.
There, I found you an empty spot.
Great question.
Oh,
Thank you.
Yes.
This has been a fun time. We will have to get you guys on Unturned pages to talk about your other paranormal adventures, because I know you guys go to other places. I know you just went to Myrtle's plantation.
Yeah, so I was at Myrtle's a while back. That was just my upload of the photos. But yes, that was a couple years back now, and that was absolutely phenomenal. And that was top of my bucket list. Trans-Allegheny is currently at the very, very top right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if you're interested, in September when we come for MadCon, I'm gonna drive down to Tala and I'm gonna do the day tour. I've already done investigations there and everything, but my wife has never been inside the building.
Okay.
So I'm going to do the day tour. So, and Jenny, I'm pretty sure you're tagging along with it too, because you guys are out there for a while as well. So
awesome.
Yep. Just
so if you guys want to make that little drive down from Illinois, it's up to you, but we're going to do a day tour. And I think it's like 3 hours long, but it's worth it.
I've heard that the day tours are great. Even who was it, Steve, that recently went from our team? Jennifer, wasn't it?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yes,
either
that's right.
Jennifer or I'm not sure, but they said it was the day tour was even great.
Well,
I'm
I always believe that if you've never been to a location, you should go on a day tour when it's daylight out to check the building out and get your bearings
Mhm.
Mhm.
before you go in there in the dark.
See, for me, I go on the day so I can do photos, take awesome
Ah.
photos, and then go back at night and investigate. Then I don't have to worry about photos as much.
By the way, I have seen some of your photos and I am blown away. Like, you are very
Oh, thank
talented
you.
in that regard.
Thank you.
She does. She
welcome.
knows how to capture the natural light and the angles correctly.
Yes.
I know, like
Absolutely.
hold on. This one, the one of the old piano, is one of my favorites from you guys.
Those are both beautiful.
Because down in the basement of Conover, there is these pieces of a old piano that they didn't get to make all over the place. Like, it's like walking back into history. Like, that place. If you haven't gone to Conover, get your butt there. Like, it's amazing. These guys will take care of you. Like I
All
said,
right, I'm gonna start walking now.
We will figure out a day for Russ to fly out to Minnesota. I'll bring him down. Nicole
Why
can
not
do it.
just? How far are you guys from Chicago?
hour and a half, hour and 15.
Okay, just fly me into Chicago instead of flying me into Minnesota and just pick me up at the airport, and we'll go straight there.
Well,
Shoot, you can fly into Rockford, and it's less than a half-hour drive from the airport.
damn, I'll just fly into Rockford. We'll just rent a car and go do this. But
Yeah,
I know I'll be
fair
down in
enough.
that area in November for Dark Arts and Oddities event. So
That's DeKalb, right?
Yep.
Yep.
It's the November, I want to say, well, I gotta look up the date. November 16th and 17th.
Okay.
If you guys want, I can hook you up with Billy, and you can get a booth and maybe do a lecture or something.
I've always wanted to visit that ever since seeing the Oddity show back in the Science Channel way back when, Obscura and everything out of New York, New Jersey, wherever that was. Always wanted to go to one of those places and start a collection,
Oh yeah, like his events is really fun because it's held in the castle in DeKalb.
Oh, Outgeld, yes.
Yes, it's amazing, and all of his vendors are amazing. The people that come are amazing. And I guess this year I got wrapped into doing a workshop. So
Awesome.
we'll see how that goes.
Very
We'll
cool.
see how that goes. Never done one, but okay, we'll go with it. But yeah, I'll be down in that area that weekend, but I'm hoping to come down before that. Russ,
Sure.
we'll have to go like November, December, because you work all through Halloween.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the problem. Like my season ends right like around November 10th, but then I have my anniversary November 13th. So it's always difficult. And then you got Christmas coming up. So
Mhm.
Oh yeah. Spooky
Well,
says
well-
spooky season leads right into it all.
well,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
a store manager for Spirit Halloween. So
Oh, awesome. One of my favorite stores ever. I actually
Mhm.
have Barry hanging right above me right now. in
oh,
the
very
office.
nice.
Yes.
Very
Yes.
nice.
Yes, I love the little room at Conover. It's so fun, and they have like this pull-down TV screen and everything. It's like, I just want one of those rooms in my house, and I'll be good to go.
The
I'll never-
clubhouse.
Yeah, the clubhouse. Well, thank you guys for coming on. I definitely will get in contact with you about dates, and maybe
Awesome.
we can meet up and do MadCon in September together or something.
Yeah. Thanks for having us. Russ, it was nice to meet you. And Jenny, it was good to see you again.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes,
Thank you.
I'm
thank
not
you
even
guys
supposed
both.
to be here today. In the words of the famous clerks, I'm not even supposed to be here today.
But we'll definitely get you on Unturned pages as well to talk
Yes.
about your paranormal adventures and wherever you have been as well, and get
Awesome.
Conover out a little more too.
Yeah, awesome. And we want to hear more from you guys as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's
Of course.
incredible to meet you two.
Yeah. Well, we'll see you guys very soon, hopefully. And yeah,
Awesome.
we'll keep in contact.
Cool. Thanks again, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good night.
You too.
So that was Conover Sqaure with Josiah and Steve. They are great. If you're in the Midwest, go check them out. You won't regret it. I promise you. But on Sunday of Unturned Pages, we have Zach Wenzel, who is Blood Moon Paranormal. They just got back from Old Harriman and Old South and Bushy Mountain, so that'll be a fun conversation because I've never been to Old
Now,
Harriman.
is it bushy or is it brushy?
Brushy, I think.
Bushy Mountain. Okay. All right.
Something like that.
I always mix it up.
I think they get. I think they technically say both. It's however the Tennessee people say it because they have an accent down
I don't
there.
know. I always kind of get it mixed up. You know, I want to go to the location, but seeing who was it? Nicki Minaj or whoever did that show. Bonnie.
I love Russ's response to that.
Bonnie, I already put up with her every day, and I already do it back-to-back nights on Sunday and Monday, so...
Hey, you call me your work wife, and Nicole got mad at you for that.
This is a beaten man right here. This literally is like... I guess my 40th is starting off with a bang.
Bang! So, everyone, see us on Sunday night on this page, and we will see you then. Say goodbye, Russ. Bye.